Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to your early morning intuitive guidance. I apologize for my voice. A little too much yelling yesterday. So I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum here with some words of wisdom to start your day. And we'll see how many pop on today. My guess is most of the regulars are thinking I'll probably be as late as I was yesterday. But yeah, I'm operating on 3 hours of sleep at the moment, but we'll deal. We'll deal. So we have an interesting deck today, the Wild Harmonic deck, which we don't see often, but when it pops up, it usually has something good for us. So good morning, Joe Neal. Welcome. Glad you are here. Good morning. Good morning. We'll see. Oh, number went up to 2, so somebody else found me. I was just going to say, we'll see how many find me. Good morning, Catherine. Welcome. Glad you're here. Thank you for the sunshine. I appreciate it. Good morning, Barb. Welcome. 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 So today is the second to last day of Tonyland, and yesterday was relationship day. There was a lot of interesting stuff there, and so again, I'm sure quite a bit of it will. Good morning, Nancy. Welcome. Good morning, Cindy. A bunch of it will be kind of leaking into the things I talk about over the next little while. But today's card seemed pretty. It's kind of an esoteric deck, but I feel like the message is useful in our conceptualization of where we're at and where we're going. So I was interested to see the deck pop up. Good morning, CJ. Glad you are here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So let's start with, I feel like we need a little bit of energy here. Good morning, Beth. Welcome. So let's rub our hands together, send some energy out. So all of this energy is bouncing around to all of us, bouncing around to all of those who will be watching over the course of the day, bouncing around to those we love, energizing everybody, getting things moving. A little bit of tapping right here. Nice deep breath in and out. Breathing in, taking in the world. Breathing out, grounding and centering. Breathing in, healing golden light. Breathing out, all that no longer serves you. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So let me show you these. First of all, I'll show you the cover of the Wild Harmonic deck by Gabriel J. Merrihew. And our card is actually the one that's on the cover of the box. Good morning, Mel. Glad you are here. So this cool image of helping hands all the way into a spiral. So one is called the Dimensional of Water Holistic Synergy. Holistic Synergy. So let's see what it has to say. Nice deep breath in. Out. Ready to receive. As the energies of the dimensional expanse embody into the flowing feeling of life. I like that, the flowing feeling of life. An opening into completion arises. We're creating a portal here, an opening into completion. And remember, yesterday's card was beginnings. So again, something ends, something new opens up, and we assist the process when we flow with what is, rather than lamenting the loss of something, when we have not a full sense of what gain we're getting, what's opening up for us. So here's the meditation part. Empowerment moving to reinforce itself. A quickening of the journey as the channels are opened. So we're moving into flow here, moving into flow. And the amazing grace of life as a living choice. So we can decide to view life as grace, even the things that are difficult. Again, I think things arise. Yes, celebrate what is. I think things arise in divine right timing and divine right order. Do I think that means there's a Wizard of Oz manipulating all the levers? Not necessarily, but that there is harmony and flow to life. Things do make sense on some level. Not always the human level, which is what drives us nuts, I think, when we're trying to figure everything out. But again, this intellect, this mind is meant to be the faithful servant of heart and soul. Not driving the bus, the faithful servant, the foot soldier, the part that does things. So if you think about your heart and soul as the sovereignness, the sovereignty of you, it then should dictate what this does. Go find me an answer to blah, blah, blah. Or help me figure out blah, blah, blah. But it's in service of the heart and soul, not just on its own, right? This card points me into the opening within me that creates the opening in the world. Isn't that a cool sentence? This card points me to the opening within me that creates the opening in the world. Look at all those hands helping you into that spiral, leading you who knows where. Who knows where? And we don't need to know where. We'd like to know where, but we don't always need to know. The Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. quote, take the next step in faith. Good morning, Janine. Glad you are here. Don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the next step in faith. And that's our opportunity to practice faith and trust when we can't see too far ahead. Faith and trust wouldn't need to exist if we could see everything, if we had it all figured out. So that uncertainty is an integral part of the process. Step on through. Step on through. That door is opening. Step through. It reminds me that if I cannot do powerful things in the moment, and we never know how powerful something is that we're doing, to instead do whatever I am doing with power. And that can be the divine feminine power, or it can be the divine masculine power. Well, we all have both in us. But allowing. We all need practice with that one, I think. I'm seeing life from simplicity, which is one point of perspective. What I'm seeing is infinite complexity. So we try to simplify things. We try to oversimplify things. I'll go back to our category thing. Well, you're a Republican, so that must mean, or you're a Democrat, so obviously you believe X, Y, and Z. No, obviously. No, that must mean. So allow people to be complex. Allow them to be exactly who they are. Quit trying to figure them out. Enjoy the mystery. I think we make our lives much easier. We did relationship stuff yesterday, and it was hilarious, some of this stuff. That those who live in their divine masculine energy, how they typically think and feel and do, and those who live in their divine feminine energy, how they typically think, feel, and do. And they're fundamentally different. Again, we all have both, and we all can cultivate the one that we tend to not default to, and that gives us more breadth of awareness because we can perceive things in a broader range. But again, we think, good morning, Angie, glad you're here, welcome. And oh, Holly too. Good morning, Holly, glad you're here. We get so simplistic about it. We want it to make sense. We want it to fit into a neat little box. But as soon as we put it into that box, we've now turned that box into a prison. So if someone says to me, well, you're a woman, therefore must mean blah, 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 blah. Not necessarily. There's complexity when we're seeking all that simplicity. Easier if we just decide to go with the flow, and if we allow people to be who they are. Does that mean it's excuse for crappy behavior? No. But it might offer some understanding as to why that behavior I perceived as crappy occurred. Again, the fundamental reasons why people do what they do can be so very different. It's hard to step into other people's shoes sometimes. We think we know, and we look through our own lenses, but we may be totally missing the boat. Totally missing the boat. So I am seeing life from simplicity, one point of perspective. What I am seeing is infinite complexity. Embracing both, I learn to feel the ebbs and flows of where I am at. So that's being in flow, right? With that knowledge, I can find the point to enter and ride the wave. So it's not about trying to change everything or fix everything. For God's sake, not fix everything, but allowing the flow. I wonder how this is going to work out. Inquiry. Here's the question to be asking yourself. What part of myself needs integration in order to bring greater ability to my experience? So I'll give you an example. If I'm looking at something through strictly the divine feminine lens, and I'm struggling to try to find my way with it, whatever it is, sometimes if I bring that my divine masculine lens to bear on it, it makes a whole lot more sense. Good morning, Carolyn. Glad you are here. Does that mean you fundamentally change who you are as the looker? Not necessarily, but you're certainly modifying the lens and hopefully appreciating what this modified lens can show you. It's when we get rigid and locked into, here's how I look at things. And here's how everyone ought to look at things. And if you don't look at things that way, then you're the other, you're the them that I can then hate upon. Allow it to be what it is. If you have 10 people and they're all looking at it differently, fabulous. Take a look as best you can through their lenses. I want to see what they see. The more we can see what they see, doesn't mean we're necessarily fundamentally changing our lens, but we can certainly learn to appreciate the other lenses. Good morning, good morning. Thank you for all the pretty hearts in the rainbow. So that is our card for today, holistic synergy. Holistic synergy. But I like that word appreciation. I think that is a huge word for improving our dealings with others, dealings with other humans, dealings with other animals. And isn't it interesting? Sometimes we afford our animals more grace than we do our humans. So our dog does something weird and we're like, well, I don't know why he or she did that, but maybe that's dog behavior. And we have some latitude there. But then our spouse does something that is spouse-like, and we're like, what the hell are you doing? What if we allowed them the same grace as we allow the dog? Yes, perspective. And not being so arrogant as to think that ours is the only perspective. Allow for other perspectives. Multiple perspectives can really bring interesting viewpoint to something. So again, I think back to the blind man and the elephant. Everybody's touching a different part of the elephant, arguing with the others about how things are. Well, yes, if you're touching a trunk versus touching the side versus touching the tail, you're going to have a very different view of it. Can we? Yes, very much. Agreed. Easier said than done with spouses. But again, all we can deal with is our own behavior. We have influence through our own behavior. How we choose to respond to something influences what happens next. Do we control it? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And the more we try to control, the more controlled the other person feels, and the more out of control the situation spins. Let go. Hold on loosely. Remember, we're doing the hold on loosely. Yes, exactly. So, nice deep breath in and out. And another one. And often, what's getting poked for us is our safety needs. The need to feel safe. And interestingly, and I can't remember what so Tony asked the question of this group, and again, there's 3,000 people live and 3,000 people on Zoom. Something about, it was a safety question, and like, how often do guys make adjustments to things based on a need for safety? and it was low. It was like 3% of the time or something like that. And for women, how often do you adjust things based on safety? Like 80% of the time. So a huge difference in perspective there, isn't there? And when we can honor that the other group has very different lenses, that can be so helpful. That can be so helpful. And allowing it to be what it is. We don't want everybody to be the same. That's the variety is part of what makes life interesting, right? So let's try not to squash the differences out of each other. Allow, accept, appreciate. How does it balance your perspective? What's useful about that other perspective? Just offering some grace, offering some grace. So, holistic synergy, just think about it, breathe into it, try some practices with it, see what you get, talk to people about it, see what their thoughts are on that. You'll pretty quickly figure out who are the people who have some flexibility and enjoy the differences, and the people who are like, nope, we got it just like this. This is it. That's all there is. Breathe some love into them. Breathe some love into them. Oh, just heard a goose go over. Awesome. Yeah, it's not cold enough here yet that they've all taken off. Strange, strange, strange. So, have an awesome day. Happy Tuesday. This is what 3 hours of sleep looks like. Kind of rambly. We'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are. Bye-bye.